Bien, compañeros, hola. Me llamo Profe Broom, sí, hola, soy Profe Broom aquí. Hoy es lunes, ¿sí? El 28 de septiembre de 2020 y Profe Broom no está en clase, ¿sí? I'm not in class. Remember, I had to take the day off today. We have some bureaucratic tramits to take care of in Minneapolis today, so I will be back tomorrow, just barely. Probably be back around midnight tonight. It's going to be terrible. But in the meantime, I put together an EdPuzzle review for you for Unit 1. ¿Sí? Este es un repaso, a review of Unidad Una en la clase de Español Uno. Believe it or not, in 3 weeks, we were able to get through the first unit in our class in EMC Passport and all of the different practice that we did. We finished officially Unit 1 in clase, see, incredibly in 3 weeks. Now we still have the summative to take, which will take until Thursday, so officially we're not done. We're testing on Unit 1, and then by Monday of next week we'll be diving fully into Unit 2, ¿verdad? Excelente. So this is a little bit about what you can do to prepare for the summative assessment, which again, if you are in the blue group, you get the extraordinary privilege of starting tomorrow, Tuesday. If you're in the white group, you'll go Wednesday, and if you're, or excuse me, gold group will go Wednesday and white group will go Thursday. See? Some learning targets. It would be a really good idea right now if you had your purple unit guide and your pink vocabulary sheets in front of you today as we're reviewing this, okay? It's gonna seem like a better review session if you have those tools in front of you. So these are the learning targets that will be covered on the Unit 1 summative assessment. I can greet people and say farewells using a variety of expressions. I can respond to 5 basic questions giving the following information: saying and spelling your name, saying how you are feeling, saying where you are from, saying your age and your birthday, and saying your favorite food. Those were the 5 basic questions, see? You can state places in the world where Spanish is spoken, and you can say today's date or your birthday too, right? Bien. So let's look at these learning targets a little bit more closely. Greetings and farewells. We spent a fair amount of time in the first week going over saludos, greetings, and despedidas, farewells. On the summative assessment, I might greet you with hola and then request that you greet me back in a different form. So remember, ¿qué tal? How's it going? Sí, ¿cómo estás? How are you? ¿Qué pasa? What's up? Buenos días, good morning, buenas tardes, good afternoon. And at the end, I might tell you adios and request that you give me a different farewell. Nos vemos, real informal see ya. Hasta pronto, see you soon. Hasta luego, see you later. Hasta mañana, see you tomorrow. Or buenas noches, we probably wouldn't use that in class. Good night, see? So the greetings and farewells, if you have your pink sheet out, be sure that you have those written out so that you know what they mean, ¿verdad? Y probably have them written in your cuaderno as well. Preguntas y respuestas. So this is going to be important here, that we're able to recognize what the question is that's being asked and identify some ways that we're going to respond to it, right? So, número 1. ¿Cómo te llamas? make sure that when I ask you como te llamas, what's your name, you can tell me me llamo and your name. Me llamo profe in this case, right? And then profe could technically ask you como se escribe. Remember, we've been practicing the alphabet. How do you spell it? How do you write it? If I ask you that, I'll kind of give you that universal sign for writing with my hand, like I'm scribbling in the air. And that will hopefully trigger your memory that, oh yeah, I have to spell it. And you would tell me something like, se escribe, it is written. If you don't remember that phrase, don't worry about it for now, as long as you can just tell me the letters. For example, mi nombre se escribe con P, R, O, F, E. Essentially what we were listening to those people doing in the EMC assignment on Friday. And I realized that was a difficult assignment. I think what made it most difficult was how they were saying like P mayúscula, and then some of the letters they were saying con acento, and it was kind of screwing up our ear a little bit. So if you just tell me the letters in your name, that will be just fine. I'm primarily focused on listening for the vowels. A, E, I, O, U. Those are the ones that I really want to hear. If you run into trouble with the vowels, that might be where we lose a few points if I were to ask you to spell your name. See? Ahora, again, following along either on the pink sheet or the purple guide or in your cuaderno, the next question, ¿Cómo estás? If I ask you ¿Cómo estás?, be sure that you can tell me how you're feeling or some emotions. Estoy bien, estoy feliz, estoy cansado, ¿verdad? Estoy más o menos. Be sure that you can use that complete sentence response, estoy plus an emotion. If you want to go back in and watch any of these Flipgrids, right, to remember what you said in your speaking Flipgrid videos, those are still accessible. Might be good practice or review. If I ask you de donde eres, be sure that you can tell me soy de and wherever you were born. Soy de Minnesota. Soy de North Dakota. ¿Sí? Soy de los Estados Unidos. That would be awesome if you could tell me the name of the country you were born in. Soy de los Estados Unidos. ¿Sí? If I ask you ¿cuántos años tienes?, be sure that you can tell me your age using that structure tengo and the number 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 años, right? Años. Practice that. Años. Remember that ñ, the tilde over the n makes it ña, ña, ña. Años. Tengo 15 años. And I might follow up to that one with ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? If you tell me you're 15, I might ask you what? ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? When is your birthday? And if you're like, if you're a little hung up, maybe I'll be like, tu cumpleaños es diciembre, septiembre, octubre. And if you're still hung up, I might be like, cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños feliz. Right? I'll try to hint the fact that I'm asking for your birthday. And then remember, just like we did in the Nearpod Collaborate on Friday, be sure that you can tell me your birthday. Mi cumpleaños es el 15 de agosto. Something like that, right? And remember, which one goes first? The number 1 through 31 or the month? It's backwards from English, right? We wouldn't say my birthday is August 15th. We would say my birthday is the 15th of August. The number 1 through 31 first, and then the month. Be sure that if I ask you, ¿Cuál es tu comida favorita?, you can tell me your favorite food using a food in Spanish. So remember, I gave you like 15 examples to choose from. I'm sorry if your favorite food wasn't one of them. Just go with one of the ones that we learned in class, see? And a lot of them are cognates, like cereal. See? If your favorite food is cereal, I'm very sorry to hear that. Muy bien. Excelente. So, again, the 5 questions and responses. I might elaborate a little bit more and ask you, ¿Cómo se escribe? Or ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? But for the most part, those are the 5 basic questions that I may ask you. Again, the alfabeto, if I'm asking you, ¿Cómo se escribe? Make sure that you practice these. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, R, S, T, U, B, W, B, X, Y, Z. See, I'm primarily focused on the vocales for this one. A, E, I, O, U. Because remember, once you have the vowels down, you can literally say any word that you want in Spanish. There are very few exceptions to when those vowels would not make those exact sounds. ¿Dónde se habla español? This won't be a primary focus, but I could ask you to name 3 countries. I would probably ask you in English, okay? To just say, can you remember a few countries around the world where Spanish is spoken? And be sure that if you choose to say Spain, be sure to call it España. See? They have a different name. See? In Spanish, Spain is called España. Notice it has that tilde. So it would be ño, 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 España. And if you're going to say Mexico, be sure to give it that Mexico. See? The X in Spanish in this case is pronounced like the Spanish J or the English H. Mexico, and it has that accent over the E, so give it that drive. Mexico, see? And then Dominican Republic, remember, is kind of backwards. República Dominicana, see? Otherwise, be sure that you can say, maybe for good practice, you at least know 5 Spanish-speaking countries in the world. So, la fecha, see? If I ask you, ¿cuál es la fecha? It's on the next slide. We'll go into the structure of it. Be sure that you can respond to the question, ¿cuál es la fecha? Or ¿cuál es la fecha de hoy? So practice hearing that several times. ¿Cuál es la fecha? ¿Cuál es la fecha de hoy? See? Hoy, remember hoy in class I said, make sure you know what hoy is, because in the speaking assessment, if I'm like hoy and snap and like point down like hoy today, hoy, 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 make sure that should be a cue for you to say, oh, he said hoy, he's talking about today. ¿Cuál es la fecha de hoy? So if I ask you, be sure you can say the day of the week that it is. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. And then be sure that you could tell me what month it is. Enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. Estos son los 12 meses del año, see? And then for telling the date, especially since these assessments are going to start happening later on in the month, make sure you can say these bigger numbers, see? So again, the numbers, if you don't really have them memorized or down patent yet, we can practice them un poquito, see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, después 30, 31 días en los meses. So can you take all of that información junto and put it into this structure? ¿Cuál es la fecha de hoy? What is the date today? Hoy. Hoy. The structure hoy es, today is, it's going to start out with your día. lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo, ¿sí? Remember what comes next, the number 1 through 31. This is where in English we like to say, today is Monday, September 20th. No. En español, no. Hoy es lunes, el 28 de septiembre. ¿Sí? So you swap around the month and the number 1 through 31, essentially. ¿Sí? And then de, año. Remember the año is 2020. Don't worry about that for the assessment. So if I ask you, ¿qué día es hoy? O ¿cuál es la fecha de hoy? If you can at least say hoy es lunes or hoy es martes, that's a good start. If you can really elaborate and say hoy es lunes el 28 de septiembre, wow, that's spot on. And if you really were practice up, you could even tell me hoy es lunes el 28 de septiembre de 2020. I'd be very, very impressed. Excelente. Y we talked earlier, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños? When I ask you, again, ¿cuántos años tienes? Tengo 15 años. I might follow up with, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Oh, you're 15 already? Wow. When was your birthday? Or when is your birthday? See? And in that case, remember, it's kind of like saying the date, but we don't have to say the day of the week. I don't expect that you remember what day of the week you were born on, or that you know what day of the week your birthday is on this year. So in this case, I'm just looking for that number 1 through 31 in the month. So mi cumpleaños es el 15 de agosto. Something like that. ¿Sí? Bien. Compañeros, that is all I have for you for this EdPuzzle. Okay, so again, going back to the learning targets that could appear on the speaking exam, be sure that you're able to do these things. For the remainder of class today, which is going to be quite a bit of time, I would encourage you to, number 1, go into that Quizlet that you made, the Unit 1 Quizlet. I think we spent 2 Fridays in class, towards the end of the class, making Quizlets. Anything that I just went over in this EdPuzzle that you do not have in that Quizlet, be sure to put in that Quizlet. That's going to be a great way to get ready for this, okay? Now, once your Quizlet is made, don't just look at it, right? Go through it and speak. Quiz yourself on it, right? But in a speaking way, because this assessment is going to be a speaking assessment. See? So yeah, I would say get out that Quizlet, get to work on that Quizlet, and you know what you need to study most. Okay, your cuaderno, your note-taking notebook, your pink sheet, your purple sheet, those are all great tools to have out. Remember how to access the EMC Passport module online when you go to that passport.emcl.com website and you click on that white icon that will say resources. When you click on it, you can get into your textbook. You can also get into the workbook, the vocab and grammar. You could toy around on there. Be a great use of your time. See? So you decide how you want to spend the rest of today, but it needs to be spent gearing up for the assessments this week. See? So I hope that is useful. And mucha suerte, compañeros. I'm wishing you all great luck. I can't wait to see what you're capable of when we meet and go over this stuff, ¿sí? Muy bien, compañeros. Hasta pronto.